I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you coping in lockdown?
Yeah, not too bad. It's something that's been hard to get used to for us squash players, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, it's not been too bad. The weather's been good and been able to get outside and still do some training. So just missing squash, really.
When you look back at your time as a junior, what aspect did you prefer the most? Was it the matches, the training, or the spending time with friends?
Good question. Being junior was pretty cool because I think for me, the thing I enjoyed the most was probably the social aspect of it.
Mm.
My favorite thing was when we used to go to some of the European tournaments, and there was a couple of us that would go every single time from Wales, and we would travel and travel together and stuff like that. And I think for me, a big part of my junior squash was the social side of it.
Mm.
And I didn't probably take until I was like 15 or 16. I probably didn't really take my training like as much as maybe other people were doing in terms of like gym stuff, but I played a lot of squash and was on court like every single day. So I think mainly I just used to love to play matches, but I would probably say the social aspect was probably my favourite part.
When did you start to realise you were really talented at sport?
Probably pretty late. I think you don't really think about things like that when you're a kid. I think you just well, I know I didn't. I just loved playing, and it was in my family, and we all just used to go down and play. So it wasn't all about like taking it that seriously, if that makes sense. So probably only until I was about 15 or 16, I realized that it was something that I really wanted to do for a career, not just for fun. So probably not. I probably didn't really take it that seriously that it was something that I really wanted to do until about 15 or 16.
Was that the age when you started entering tournaments and stuff?
As a professional, you mean?
As a junior, yeah.
No. I played pretty young. I think my first tournament I probably was about 7 or 8. Maybe 7 or 8. And so no, I played tournaments basically the whole time from about 9 or 10, including like all the tournaments in Wales, some obviously in England, and then went to like European tournaments. So I was taking it seriously, but I didn't probably think that at that point I was going to do it as a job.
And did you have a good temper on court as junior?
It wasn't too bad actually. It was. Yeah, I would say I had a good temper. I probably get angrier now than I did when I was a kid on court. Get more frustrated now, especially than I did when I was a kid. The only time I would probably get really, really angry was when I was playing my brother. We used to have some bad matches and we'd get pretty angry. So I would say competitive, but not really a bad temperament. No.
Just when you were battling your family.
Exactly. The family battles were the worst, I think.
Yeah. If you took two juniors with the same talent and based one in Egypt as a junior and one in the UK as a junior, which one do you think would go further and excel with their squash, and why?
This was a good question. I think I probably would have to say Egypt, just because I think from experience of myself and experience of going to these tournaments when we go to Egypt, seeing the people and what they do, the kids say of 10 here to the kids of 10 in Egypt, but they're doing a lot more. So I kind of think it would depend on how many hours you put in. But I would probably say that's a tough question. I'd probably say Egypt just because they'd probably be on court a lot more and have more people to play with probably.
What do you think they're doing different to the UK setup?
I think they're just playing more. I think they have I think squash in the UK is not a big sport. And I think obviously with the talent coming through in Egypt with like all the players they've had are like world number one male and female now, the kids have a lot of people to look up to, and they see it as like, yeah, we want to do this too, and they put the hours in. The kids are doing a lot a lot more and have obviously a lot more people to play at competitions too. I think that like I heard that the under 11s or under 13 Egyptian nationals have like 300 children playing, whereas like here obviously that would be, even in the British champs you wouldn't get 300 in one age group, would you? So I think it's just they just have more competition, they have more numbers. I don't know how they get the numbers, but I'm sure we could learn from it.
What age did you first think about becoming a professional squash player?
Think about 16, 17. I thought about it probably about 16. I probably thought about it, and then I was in school and I'd finished my GCSEs and then decided to do my A levels, and at the start of my first year of AS level I was losing the plot. I was trying to train a lot and trying to do a lot of schoolwork, and I was struggling with it, and I came home and told my parents something's going to have to give one way or the other, and that I wanted to play squash, and they were pretty supportive. So I'd probably say about 16, 17.
And you made the right decision, would you say?
Now I would say I had, but it's a tough decision to make, and I think the main thing is just to, like, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it. The thing that I thought was that I have to do it when I'm younger if I can, so it was obviously a debate between staying in school and doing that side, but I always thought I could do that when I'm whereas with squash it was like you need to do it now or probably don't do it. So
yeah,
I definitely think I made a good call now, but at the time it was a bit I'm not so sure.
yeah. What has been the biggest high in your career so far?
Either winning my first British national championship. That was pretty big. No one in Wales had done it before, and it's always been quite high on the priority list that I would like to have won. So that was pretty good. But probably before that, I would say the Commonwealth Games, really, in the Gold Coast in 2018. That was just the most amazing 2 weeks I've ever been a part of something, and I think I love playing for Wales, and I love competing for my country.
What's been your hardest ever physical squash match?
Against Laura Massaro.
Yeah.
In the, I think it was the World Championships in Manchester. I don't know the year. I don't know the year that was, but anyway, it was brutal, and I think it took a lot out of me mentally as well as physically. So I really felt really tired for a couple of days after it, because it was really tough, and she for me is one of the hardest people to play on tour because of her mentality. So you feel like you're working physically hard, but you're mainly working obviously mentally very hard as well. So I'd probably say that match.
What match do you feel you've played your best ever squash?
That's a good question. Maybe my match against Nour Tayeb in Manchester last year, probably.
Yeah.
I was 2-love down and came back and won in 5, and I think even in the first 2 games, I think I played pretty well. So I'd probably say that match, because I think the quality was quite high, and yeah, I think I'd go with that match. I think that's the best I've probably ever played.
In preparation for a squash match, what gets you in the zone?
Music, mainly music. I'm quite a relaxed person, so I don't really like thinking about my matches until probably like an hour to an hour and a half before, just because I get really tired if I keep thinking about it. So about an hour before, I'll put my headphones in, sit somewhere a little bit further away from people, or just, not necessarily in with loads of people, and just listen to some music, and that can motivate me quite a lot.
What type of music have interest?
To be honest, I don't have a specific type of music. It just has to be something pretty fast, quite upbeat kind of music. Yes, along like sort of like dance type music that's pretty fast, and yeah. Types
of routines do you do during a training session?
Good question. Depends on obviously the session. I like to do a lot of condition games. So a lot of stuff where it's limiting me playing certain shots. It's probably my favourite thing to do, because it teaches me to not overplay shots that I always overplay. So I'd probably say, yeah, conditioning game session is probably one of my favourite sessions to do.
And what do you think is your favourite condition?
My favourite condition is probably, don't know. I actually think my favourite condition game is all long, so you have to hit everything obviously behind the line.
Everything.
But you can volley anywhere short is my favourite.
Who do you least like playing squash against on tour?
My least favourite player to play on tour is Nora Shabini, because I just think, I don't know what it is, but I just think either her game style doesn't suit me or something. I'm not really sure. Just basic fact is she's just very good and very hard. As I said to you before, that I like to read the game and I can't read anything she's doing, so it makes it very difficult for me.
And if you could picture winning one event and beating one player in the final, what event and who would you beat?
The event I'd like to win is the British Open. I definitely think, obviously, I'd love to be world champion too, so that obviously would be a major one, but I think the British Open would be even more special being in the UK. So I'd say British Open would be an event I would love to win. And who would I like to beat in the final? Say I would like to play in the final with Joelle King. She's like one of my, probably the one, but my favorite, my best mate on tour, and to share a final, like a British Open final, playing her would be pretty cool.
So off court now then, what changes would you make to the women's game if you were in charge?
My first thing I would change the seeding of the women's tour. So right now, I don't know if you know, but the men and women have different seeding ways to seed the tournament. So I think we should go to the men's system, because I think it would make it more exciting and have closer first rounds, have some great and more entertaining for the fans. So I would do that. What else? I would like to see more tournaments for the women. I would love that. I think the women's game is in an amazing place right now. It's really exciting to watch. We have a good depth of players. But yeah, I would like to see even more tournaments for us, just so that we could pick and choose a little bit more.
Who is the greatest woman to ever play squash in your eyes?
I think Nicole David. I think Nicole took the women's game to the next level. Her physicality was a joke, and I think it made all the other women, including myself, up our physicality, and just, yeah, I think she took the game to new levels, and everyone had to follow behind her. So I would probably say Nicole, and also she also did it in a really nice and humble way as well. She's a really nice person, and you'd never know how good she was unless you knew her, really.
Which sports person do you admire the most?
Serena Williams. Big fan of Serena. I think, I think her story's great, and I like the way she plays tennis, and the way she obviously has been in the media for a few bad things and a few bad-tempered things, which is only natural. I think every athlete will tell you that there's going to be a time when that happens. But I would say Serena, because I just like her determination and grit and stuff on court.
How does it feel to be the best Welsh woman squash player ever currently?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. As I said to you before when we were talking about representing our country, it's my favourite thing to do. I'm very passionate about playing for my country and doing it in the right way, and I think I never envisioned that it would happen. And yeah, I love it, and I just hope that it encourages more younger girls to take up the sport and see that it can be done. First goal would be to make the top 8. I've been at 9 for ages now, dropped to 10, and I think I would love to crack the 8, because obviously the 8 at the minute makes a big difference with the draws. So 8 would be my first goal, but yeah, definitely working pretty hard to crack that top 5, which is looking pretty tough at the moment, with obviously a lot of the other girls in there as well. It's a really tough top 10, and it'll be hard to do, but yeah, I'm definitely working towards that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you and Joel Macon would have a good shot at winning the mixed event at the Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, it's a good call. We've not played doubles before. We've had different partners in the past. And I think definitely would make a good team. We've got attributes that could work really well together. And I'm sure his physicality would massively help me. And I hope he would cover most of the court to help me as well. But yeah, I definitely think that it could be a good team, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Moving away from squash now, and more about you and your personality. If you could invite 3 people to a dinner party, past or present, who would they be and why?
My first person that I would invite would be Steven Gerrard. Now, do you know who that is?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good. I'm a massive Liverpool fan, and growing up as a kid, he was my absolute idol. So I would definitely invite him. I would love to talk about Liverpool and all that kind of stuff with him. So he would be number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'd probably invite Rafael Nadal.
Yeah.
Again, just a massive fan of his, and would definitely like to go to dinner with him. So he would come in number 2, and then number 3, I'd probably invite the Queen. I just think she, honestly, I'm a massive fan of her, but I just think she'd have so many cool stories to tell. Like, I think I've just got so much respect for her. Like, she's like 92 and she's still working, and it's just unbelievable. And I just think she'd have so many stories to tell that we don't know, and I think she'd be pretty interesting, to be fair.
Yeah, 92 years of different stories. That would be pretty interesting.
Oh, I can imagine. I actually think she'd be quite funny. Like on a 1-to-1 sort of basis. I don't know. That's never going to happen, so I can't tell you how it will go.
If you were stuck on a desert island, what 3 things would you take with you, and why?
I would definitely take some food of some sort.
What food? What's your favourite dish?
Do you know what? I would take ice cream. I'm not even joking. I love ice cream, and
It'd melt pretty quick on the desert.
Yeah, true. That wouldn't work. There's got to be something better. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, you can keep the ice cream in the shade, where there is shade.
If there was like a freezer, then I would definitely have some ice cream. I don't get to eat it as much as I would love to, so I'd probably take that. What else would I take? I would take a member of my family with me, and don't ask me to choose, because that would be awful.
You know I'm going to have to now.
No, it's not happening. I'm not going to answer. I'd probably would take a couple members of my family with me, because I feel like otherwise I'd be bored, and we could figure out, if there was a couple of us, we'd probably figure out a way of getting some food and drink and
cool.
stuff. So, yeah.
So, moving on to the quick fire round now. You can only answer yes, no, or no comment. Okay. So, I'm going to give you 4 questions, and you answer yes, no, or no comment. Alright? Have you ever thought about becoming a squash coach?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had an argument with a PSA player off court?
No.
Have you ever smashed a racket on court?
No.
Have you ever hoped another player loses a squash match so you don't have to play them in the next round?
Oh, no comment. No comment on that one.
I'm going to give you 5 squash players' names, and you give me 1 word to describe them best. Renee or Lily?
Quick.
Alison Waters?
Hilarious.
Joel Macon?
Machine.
Nicole David?
Goat.
And Camille Serm?
Glides.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you could build the perfect squash player, What skills would you take from them? The forehand, backhand, serve, momentum, movement, mentality, nicks/winners.
Backhand, I would take Noor Al Shabini's backhand.
Yeah.
She's got ridiculous backhand. Forehand, I would take Joelle King. I think she's got a very powerful forehand, but also quite deceptive when she tries to be deceptive. She's pretty good at that. So I'd say Joelle. Movement, I would take Raneem Al Walili's movement. Mentality, does it have to be a current player?
No, can be anyone.
Mentality, I'd probably take Laura Mazzaro's mentality. Okay, and you said serve. Interesting serve. I'd probably take Camille Serm's serve. She's got a good serve and varies it quite a lot. And then nicks, I would take Noor Al Tayeb for nicks/shots.
If you could have a chat with junior Tesni, what advice would you give her? I would tell her to stretch more. I'm naturally very, like, my body does stiffen up really quickly, and I wish I'd stretched more when I was a kid. Not like as a kid, but when I was about 14 or 15, I wish I would have done a bit more stretching. So I would tell her to stretch more, but I would probably say to enjoy it and keep enjoying it, and not concentrate on winning and losing. Okay, cool. That is the end of the video, everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you, Tesni, for your time.
No problem. Thank you for your time. I enjoyed it.
And for everyone home watching, please, as usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a future video. And give me a comment down in the comment section below on why you enjoyed the video and types of things that you would like to see in the future. But I'll see you guys in a bit.